Hi, Joanna Hodorowska, Nutrition in Motion, nutrition for body, mind, spirit, and sport. So a lot of us are under a lot of stress recently. And when we're under stress, a lot of times we get triggered. We might even get into more arguments because of the heightened stress that we're in. So a lot of times the triggers are a reflection of a unresolved emotion and some kind of a trauma like childhood criticisms that was ongoing and it hasn't been resolved. And when you are triggered, it is the emotion that is surfacing that is requesting to be healed. You don't need to be getting into arguments, but you want to actually accept and work through the emotional trigger so that you can respond in the future rather than react. Because oftentimes the reaction, that causes more stress. And right now we want to minimize the stress rather than amplify it. So I'm going to give you just a little exercise that is actually very simple to do. One, you want to be aware that you're being triggered. And it's okay to be triggered. We have emotions, we're human. But what you want to try to do, especially if one of your loved ones or somebody else is triggering you, you want to ask yourself, why is that a trigger? And take a moment to breathe. And this is the simplest thing, is to actually breathe. Because when we're triggered, we trigger a adrenal response, and it's like the fight or flight response. And our cortisol levels go up. Our adrenals and the adrenaline goes up. And what we want to do is calm down the system and calm down the brain, because the mind is racing now, trying to protect us from future hurt. But it's really, we need to be aware of what that hurt is in the first place and why it's coming up now. It's kind of like Wayne Dyer said years ago, you know, if you squeeze an orange, you expect orange juice to come out. If you get squeezed, which is you being triggered, and anger comes out, that's something that's inside of you that is surfacing and needs to be healed so that we can then return back to a state of calm. So first, be aware that you're being triggered. That's step one. Step two is take a breath. And I really want you to take a breath. On the count of 4, you're going to breathe in through your nose. I'm going to walk you through this exercise. And you'll do this anywhere from 2 to 10 times, just until you can actually calm down and connect. And then you can actually respond from the heart with loving, as opposed to react with the anger or whatever emotion has surfaced. So first, be aware that you are being triggered, and that's okay. Secondly, put your hand on your heart, take a breath through the nose. On the count of 4, try to fill the ribs and breathe that air all the way down into your rib cage, and hold it for 4 seconds. And then breathe out on a count of 4 through the mouth on a count of 4 seconds. And as you do that, you'll notice that the mind calms down and you get back into the parasympathetic nervous system calming state. And you can then connect with your heart and go, wow, okay, this is my issue. They are just reflecting my issue, and it's okay. I can now respond with either something that just gives them, the other person, an idea of, I understand, and calmly respond with, I'm working on it, or whatever it is that your heart is telling you is the answer. So if you have any kind of triggers, it's actually your work that needs to be done on the emotional issue that is being surfaced. And most of the time, in my experience, when I've been working with my clients and on myself, it has been an issue related to criticism from childhood. Oftentimes, when you're doing this exercise, you'll get a flashback of what that childhood issue was. And you can go ahead and bless the person who created that trigger. Bless yourself for not being able to work through it earlier. And then send some love to the person who you're having a conversation with or who's triggering you. And send love to yourself so that the whole issue resolves. Let me know how this exercise works for you. And if you have any questions or would like some guided assistance with that, feel free to reach out to me, Joanna Hodorowska, www.nutritioninmotion.net.